Hey, hello everybody. June Allen here, your racial sobriety mentor from juneallen.net, and I teach sisters how to heal from addiction to self-hate with racial sobriety and personal empowerment. So I'm really excited about today. I'm so excited about today because today's topic, I am going to be sharing somebody who has been a massive influence on the success of my business, and today I'm going to be sharing her with you. So before we get into that, I just want to do some housekeeping and let you know that this Saturday is going to be the launch of my workshop, the Sacred Sister Circle, along with the book club. And yeah, it's going to be an opportunity for ladies to get together, and we're going to be studying the Bell Hooks book, Sisters of the Am. There it is. So if you're interested, it's going to be a really intimate, sacred little space where we get together and talk about different things, and obviously we're going to study the book. It's going to be a really great event. So if you're interested in joining us for that, there is a virtual session as well that's going to be happening on the Sunday if you can't make it live on the Saturday. So if you're available for that, you can click the link in my bio. It's events.juneallen.net, and you will have an opportunity for us to get together. So that's for all my London sisters. So I'm really excited because I'm now going to introduce you to the lady who is responsible for where I am today. So I'm just going to add her into the live stream. Hi, LaShanda. Hello. It's so lovely to have you. Right, I've never done this before, so I'm going to have a go. Hang on a minute. So I'm supposed to swipe left. Right, where are you? Quiet mode is turned on. Okay, so let me try something else, because that's not worked. Hang on. Bring LaShanda Henry on camera. Add. You now, LaShanda. So hopefully, oh, it's connecting. There you are. Hello. Hang on, can you hear me all right?
Hey, lovely lady.
I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you?
You can't hear me?
Oh no, why can't I hear you?
Is it the audio?
Oh, hang on a minute.
My volume is up.
Oh, I know what it is. It's because I've got my microphone in. That's what it is. Oh, hello, Printerman.
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear. I don't know if I should take my microphone out because I can't hear anything you're saying. It's got to be a dialogue. I'm going to have to take my microphone out. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to hear you. I don't understand. Let me take my microphone out, see if it makes any difference.
That to work.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Right. Great.
Oh, goodness.
Yes.
Good stuff. Beautiful lady. How are you?
Yes. LaShanda's in the building. Okay, I'm going to have to contain my excitement. So for those of you that are watching that don't know who this lovely lady is, this lady is LaShanda Henry, my business coach, who's taken me from this shy kind of, oh, I don't want to do that. LaShanda's like, you're going to try it. You're going to try it for me. So we've been working together for about 2 years. Okay, anyway, let me just, I have got my notes. I'm so excited. I'm kind of like going off on a tangent. So let me get back to my notes. So, right, I'm going to let LaShanda introduce herself first. Let LaShanda tell you a bit about herself and stuff like that. I'm going to keep quiet. I'm going to try hard not to chat and let you talk. So go for it. Take it away, LaShanda.
I'm a humble woman, so you know, the long and short of it is, as Printerman tries to take my shine, come up here. So, you know, I tell people all the time I'm a web designer, but also I mentor women entrepreneurs, especially my sister girls of color who are looking to, as I say, with Sister Sense, make sense of making money online. Hopefully I am right on time for those of you who are interested in that. That's what I've been doing all these years, almost 2 decades now, which is funny because I went on a field trip with my son today, and one of his friends said, is that your sister? And I'm like, really? Then he said to my son, because she's shorter than you, so I thought that was your sister.
Oh.
But I've been doing this thing called online entrepreneurship for almost 20 years now, and I've just had an amazing time working with amazing women like June. Every day, I just think it just kind of gives me that fountain of youth kind of a feel, just to be in a space where I can just experience what it's like to start the process of building a business for the first time. Every time I work with somebody new, it's kind of like that. So I love what I do. That's me in a nutshell. You can ask me whatever you want to ask me. I'm an open book, but I don't want to talk too much about me. Let's get into it. What do you want from me?
I remember the first time the dog's been actually a huge part of the story as well, actually, how we met, because I remember the first time we met, you had your Back to Business conference, which you've been doing for, was it 8 years? 8 years?
Yes, this is the 8th year.
8 year. LaShanda has an online virtual conference that she does every single year. She's been doing it for the last 8 years. And I met LaShanda on, you did a whole series of Periscope lives, didn't you? I think at the time.
Yes.
And I was very wet behind the ears. I'd only just kind of set up my business. And I remember seeing you on there. You were on there every day for like 30 days. And I thought, I kind of like this woman. And it was like, you know, I remember, you know, the dog was getting in trouble because he would eat the cat food and stuff like that. You would tell the dog off because the dog would be running off into the neighbour's garden, or it was eating the cat food or whatever. So in between teaching, you know, and I just thought it was funny and so down to earth, the way that you did that, the way that you just kind of incorporated your home life in with your business. And I just thought that was so endearing, you know, because there are a lot of, not kind of throwing shade at other people that do it differently, but, you know, there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there that kind of have this, and this is no disrespect to you either, but they have like a shiny way of doing things, you know? And I don't know, I kind of was quite attracted to what you were doing because of that, because you were just sitting on the porch, very humbly sitting on the porch with your dog and, you know, just kind of teaching in between. And I love that you were doing that, especially the fact that, you know, that you do actually teach, you know, Black women entrepreneurs as well. And that was a very, very big thing for me, because I just left, I was considering leaving another group that I was in that was run by a Black woman. But she was telling the Black woman, you know, not the Black woman, but everybody in her group not to talk about racism. And I just thought, well, like, how can I not talk about racism? Because that's what my business is about, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just love the fact that you know, that you serve Black women entrepreneurs, and, you know, you were living the life that I wanted to live, you know, and you had a very successful business. You've been doing it a long time. And I just really admired everything that you did, you know. Apart from that, the conference, oh my Lord, the conference. As soon as I listened to you after a few days, I was like, man, I'm signing up. And I remember I sent you that email as well, didn't I? I sent you an email saying that that I was really impressed with what you've been doing, and I couldn't wait for the conference. I just signed up for the whole thing. I just basically bought the whole thing. Greetings, Candice. Thanks for joining. You're in for a treat tonight. My business coach is on the line. I'm so excited. So,
hey, ladies.
Yeah, Candice is one of the ladies. I'm gonna be meeting her for the first time on Saturday. She's got tickets for the workshop as well in the morning. So I'm really looking forward to meeting her there. So that's going to be really good. So yeah, the conference that I met you at 2 years ago, virtually, of course, not in person. I was just blown away by the fact that, for number one, the lineup of ladies that you had on there. I mean, my two favorites were Dr. Venus and Lisa Marie Goodson. You know, those two for me really kind of blew me away. And just, there's something happens to the mind when you see a whole lineup of successful Black women, you know, doing their thing. And I was just, man, I want to be in that. I want to be in there. I want to be in there. You know, I want to do that. It was just so powerful. And then on top of that, not just to see it visually, but to have them deliver. I mean, the value that was given, you know, in the live sessions, and then obviously you get access to the replay. So if you can't get to all of the sessions and everything, you can watch them afterwards. And I mean, even now, I think to myself, I still haven't watched all the stuff that you know, that happens in the lives. But then, you know, it's like you said, you pick what's relevant for where you are.
Right.
You know, you
for what you need relevant right now.
Yeah, and And so I just love that. I love that about the the Back to Business conference, and ever since that first time, I've attended, because it's been such an amazing experience. So share with the ladies what we can expect this year from the
Oh
conference.
my goodness. It's always a beautiful lineup because I believe at the end of the day the success of your business depends upon the company that you keep. And
Mm,
so it's just so important to be around the right bodies. I'm always like, it's not about reaching everybody, it's about the right bodies. Once again, we have Dr. Venus Opal Reese,
wow.
Abiola Abrams. We have the amazing Adia Rogers. Last year, she came on and talked about how to create traditions for your business. So she's coming back on again to talk about what you need to do to transition in your business. A lot of
Mm,
people, they go from the 9 to 5 to doing something full time. And it's kind of like a culture shock, like, what do I do now? My day is different.
mm,
Nobody's always telling me what to do anymore. I got to control what I do and how I do it. So, having different women come in from different experiences, different walks of life, so important to me. Every year my spirit just kind of gives me a little digital download as far as what we need to do. And this year we need to work on confidence. We
mm.
need to work on that. It's interesting because I've got the beautiful Pam Perry. She is in PR and marketing, and also in really leveraging the power of author entrepreneurship. So developing a book so you can gain your exposure. And I talk about Pam because she is once again coming into the space to talk about some things that you can do to share you, right? Be your
Mm.
best PR agent. But at the end of the day, a lot of times ladies shirk away from that.
Yeah.
It's like, especially when I do live events, it's like, okay, I need y'all to come up in front of this camera and say something about who you are and what you do. And it's like, I don't want
Yeah.
to do that, right? And it's funny because I was on Pam's podcast last week, and she said, what, when I met you, you taught me how to do HTML. And back in the day I was all HTML, all blogging, because again, I've been doing this for a long time, and back in the day you had to build your websites from scratch.
Yes.
And over the years, while I still talk about technology and what you need to do on that piece of it, a lot of it has become holistic, internal mindset shifting,
Yes.
because to be honest with you, if you don't have the confidence within you to do any or all of what we're saying, none of the technology is going to
Yeah.
help you, because you're going to go,
100%.
that sounds great, but I
I'm
don't
not
think I
doing
can do
it.
it. I'm not ready for
100%.
it, right?
Mm.
And so that's why, while of course this is a business virtual conference, we're talking about the money, the marketing, and the sales. We want to make sure that confidence factor, Carol Sankar, look up Carol. She did an amazing TEDx talk. She has a book called The Confidence Factor. And she's in the room where $1 million deals are being made. And she said,
Wow.
first and foremost, there's not enough of us in those rooms, number one. And then number two, there's not enough women in the rooms. And she said, literally, I am investing and getting investors to have these women in the room, and they don't want to be in there because they are afraid.
Yeah.
So she created her book, The Confidence Factor, to really talk about that and open the door to conversations around what you need to do as a woman, as an entrepreneur, because there's so many women who truly fundamentally want to be business owners, but that confidence piece is missing.
Yeah.
So I know that's a mouthful, but that's the heart of what we're digging into this year.
Mm. Yeah, it's not a mouthful at all. I think everything that you've said is very relevant. And I remember one of the most memorable live streams that you've done, actually, that even now, I still think about that live stream, is the one that you did around, 15 things messing with your money.
Yeah, yes.
And that, yes, that live stream in particular was it really moved me, because you talked about all of this kind of stuff. The fact that,
Yeah.
a lot of us are dealing with depression and all of these things that are going on behind the scenes. And I think a lot of time,
Insecurities.
yeah, yeah. And I remember you saying that so many people like that live stream that, you ended up, using it as a freemium and all the rest of it, because so many people really enjoyed watching that. And it was very,
Sister Sense.
yeah.
SisterSense.com /15.
Ah, there you go. I'll put that in the link in the in the bottom. Oh, good evening, Howard. Good evening. Lovely to see you. Another one of the sisters has just jumped on. Yeah, for those of you that have just joined, my name is June Allen from juneallen.net, and I teach sisters how to heal from addiction to self-hate with racial sobriety and personal empowerment. And today I am sharing my business coach. Today we're talking about that, and we're talking about her amazing Back to Business conference that is going to be happening this Saturday from 2 p.m. London time, I believe, isn't it? Yes, 9 o'clock your time.
It's what my time, Eastern Standard, 9 in the morning until
Right.
pretty much 9 at night. We rock 12 hours.
It's amazing.
And then we're kicking things off with Dr. Venus on Friday evening. So it's going to be a full weekend.
Yes. Wow. And Dr. Venus, for those of you that do not know who Dr. Venus is, she is the amazing Black woman millionaire mentor. And her work is all about the link between, or healing from the whole thing around slavery and all the rest of it, and how the residue of that, you know, is blocking Black women from earning millions. She's saying that the fact that we're still trapped in a lot of that stuff is the reason why we're not making money, which kind of links into what you were saying, LaShanda, around the confidence thing, you know. And I think, you know, this is the reason why I do the work that I do, because, you know, the work that I do is also kind of a little bit in line with what Dr. Venus does, but mine is kind of not for the, not necessarily, she specifically works with women that are already earning like 6 and 7 figures, isn't she? But I kind of work with a lot more of the broke folks as well, as it were, you know, but it's still along the same sort of lines. It's kind of being on, you know, getting honest about the trauma and all the rest of it. You know, the stuff that happened to us in slavery going forward, and how, you know, we need to heal from that in order to have better relationships and all the rest of it. So I think, you know, I love what you're doing in terms of the Back to Business conference, because it does merge all of those things together. And just the sheer scale of things that you talk about, and the types of women that you have on there, and the topics and stuff like that, are always really great. I also wanted to share as well, for those of you that are looking for, ladies that are watching, that are looking for a mentor one-on-one, I want to share some of the reasons why I love working with LaShanda. You know, apart from the amazing conference that's going to be happening on Saturday, you know, as a result of, you know, being in the conference and signing up to her, you know, her monthly program, I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to jump in and work one-on-one with this woman, because there's so many great things that I want to do. And I got to a point where sometimes you get to a point where you just need to have that conversation with that person. You know, there's only so much reading you can do. There's only so much stuff you can Google and all the rest of it. There comes a point where you just need to have that conversation with the person. You just need to make a decision. And I just thought, you know what, I like what this woman's about, and I'm just going to jump in and see what happens. So one of the, you know, some of the reasons why I really love working with you, LaShanda, is, you know, initially when we started working together, you kind of met me on my terms. You know, you didn't sort of jump in and just sort of say you need to do this, and feel overwhelmed with everything. It was a very, very gentle process. And I even felt that there were times when you kind of let me make my own mistakes. You know, there were times when I said things, and you were like, okay, you know, and then I'd come back and I go, LaShanda, it didn't work. You know, so, and I love that, because sometimes those things, I need to learn those things for myself. So I think that, you know, the fact that you were able to kind of meet me on my terms and allow me to have these, you know, these kind of aha moments for where I was actually a very, very important part of you know, especially in the early days. But at the same time, I know that you also challenged me to come out of my comfort zone. And I can say, ladies, the only reason why I'm doing these live streams now, well, I've just embraced doing this live stream, is because of LaShanda. She challenged me. Was it in June, wasn't it? You challenged me back in June. It was my 8-year sobriety birthday. And I remember telling LaShanda about it, and then she challenged me. She was like, okay, you've been getting, I was doing a couple of live streams a week, and I just started saying to you about how I'd got more engagement and all the rest of it. And then LaShanda was like, I think you need to do 8 lives in 8 days. And I was like, oh no, why did I say that? Do you remember that? I was like, why did I say that to LaShanda? Now I've got to do 8 lives in 8 days. But you know what? It's a bit more you could have done. You could have said to me, because it really, the engagement was amazing. The engagement was amazing, and I built my confidence, and I really I felt like I was ready. It's almost like that you knew that I was ready before I knew I was ready.
Everything seems impossible until it's done, and you're in a space where it felt impossible, but then it's like now it's becoming more natural.
Yeah,
and that's the most important part.
Yeah, and that feels really good, because now I'm live streaming nearly every day this week. Last week I did 5. I'm just, and I still feel nervous. I still feel anxious, but I'm just like, you know what? You're getting on with it. Do you outline
Yes.
notes and press live and just get on with it? And
and the beautiful thing about that is learning, really cultivating a community, getting messages back. It's interesting. I was on a podcast with Dr. Geneva this past weekend, and she said to me, I'm in a space where I'm older and I'm a little bit afraid about technology and making mistakes. And I said, one of my favorite quotes is this: you make a mistake and make it a part of the dance. Nobody knows you made a mistake. They don't see it. Just make it a part of the dance. And in that process, you're going to get engagement. And she said, well, how do you gauge if you're getting engagement? I said, is somebody talking to you? Are you getting messages? Are you getting questions?
Yeah.
If it's just you throwing stuff out there and nobody's responding, and you're just kind of like, what's happening? I don't feel anything. I don't hear anything. That is a number one sign that you're missing something.
Yeah.
But being in a space where you're like, LaShanda, every time I do a live, my inbox is ringing, my PayPals are pinging. This is what you need as an entrepreneur, a combination of both. You obviously want people to be able to connect with you and directly reach out to you, and at the same time to generate revenue from people seeing the value in what you do and saying, yeah, I want to be a part of that person's world. I want to work with them too. So I love that, you did it and you continue to do it as well. That's the key.
Yeah, because I don't want the fear to get me. I don't want the fear to get me again. I don't want to kind of, I don't want to go back into that little shell and hide. And it's working. It's working for me.
And it won't. It's like they say, it's like riding a bike, even if you don't do it for a long time. Never mind, I don't know how to ride a bike. That's a whole other story. But when you do know how to ride a bike, they say if you stop for a while, it's like, getting back on. It feels natural.
And that's good to know. That's really good to know. And what I'm learning is that it's such an important thing to just to stay connected to the community. I'm getting some love in the notes. Thank you so much, Candice. She said you're doing amazingly well, June. Can't wait to tune in. I concur. Oh, bless you, ladies. You're so sweet. This is something that I kind of enjoy a lot more than I thought I would. Because when you do video, you're not talking to anybody. But when you're doing the lives, you're getting comments, you're building relationship. Like, I already feel like I'm already starting to get to know these ladies, because I'm sharing stuff, they identify, they're sharing their thoughts, their feelings, they're asking questions. And I think because of this relationship, now we want to meet in person. We want to meet in person. And I think that building that part of the community is such an important part. And that's why, I've been trying to encourage other Black entrepreneurs to go live, because at the end of the day, having a successful business or being a successful entrepreneur is about relationships. The content is important and the products are important, all the rest of it. But if you don't have that relationship, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Absolutely. The relationship is key. Even with Back to Business, I love that ladies, they say to me, LaShanda, a year plus later, I'm listening to the ones that I listened to before. But outside of that experience, when you go live, it opens the door to conversations, to be able to say, Dr. Venus, Kim Coles, Adia, June, I spoke with you on the live conference, and now I want to talk to you again. It opens the door to more, so that you're not just, a faceless person to them. They can identify with you and remember you and go, oh yeah, I made a connection with you then. So the live experience definitely puts on another layer to it, because, we are living in a different economy, and I think about the fact that as business owners, Back in the day, you would go to a brick and mortar location. They would shake your hand. You would look at the person eye to eye. You would develop that trust with the salesperson. They would share with you the expertise, and then you would buy based on not what you wanted, but what they told you you needed to get.
Yeah.
All of those experiences are now simulated through virtual, right? So you've got to be in a space where you get comfortable with not, especially for those entrepreneurs out there who, like us, are service-based, right? Where you want people to see you as credible. You got to be in a space where not only are you talking, but you're listening.
Yeah.
You know? Because a lot of people, especially when it comes to that confidence factor, sometimes we overtalk and overteach. Because if I tell you enough and I keep talking, maybe out of nervousness or anxiety, eventually you'll find some value and you'll buy from me, right? But with that engagement piece, as I'm sure you realize, you've got to be conscious of who's leaving comments and what they're saying and responding back and creating a, one-on-one. And so it's learning how to deal with the silence, because sometimes silence is uncomfortable. Maybe if you only have a handful of people, or if you ask a question and nobody says anything, dealing with the silence, dealing with the questions, trying to be responsive, and then make sure you're going back to what you planned out that you were going to say in that session, But all of these things create the real life experiences that we used to have as consumers, right? Learning how to transfer that onto the web, and in the process of doing that, building your content, your confidence. Now that's just an amazing experience.
Yeah, it's an absolutely amazing experience. For those of you that are on live, or anybody watching on the replay, if you're interested in working with LaShanda via whether it's one-on-one or whether it's via the Back to Business conference, go to events.juneallen.net. The link is in the description. Seriously, I cannot stress enough how amazing this business conference is. So, click the link in the bio if you're interested in being part of that experience. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be doing, I'm doing a bit on, it's about joy, isn't it? Joy practices, I think I'm doing.
Yes, we're doing the joy practice panel, because there's nothing like, if you want to build your confidence, bringing in the joy. At the end of the day, you've got to feel good.
Yeah.
You've got to feel good. A lot of entrepreneurs, and I'm talking to my sister girls, my Black women entrepreneurs, a lot of us suffer from depression. A lot of us go into wanting to be in a space where we help and heal others because we want to help and heal ourselves.
Yes.
And in that space, there are days when you feel good, and then there are days when you are like, not today, not today. 100%. And if you don't know how to bring in the joy on the days when you feel like there is no joy, you cannot move. You cannot, there's no hitting the go button, right? And so we've got to be in a space where we learn how to activate the joy within ourselves in the midst of darkness, because more days will be darker than not as an entrepreneur. One of my favorite quotes is, entrepreneurs spend a few years of their life doing what most people won't, so they can spend the rest of their lives living how most people can't.
Yeah,
and most people ain't gonna do the couple of years of hardness, because it ain't easy, right?
It's true.
And so being in a space where in the midst of the fire, you can dance in the fire and have some joy. I think that's really a big secret to the sauce. So I'm excited to have you and this beautiful panel of ladies really jumpstart Back to Business, so we can talk about developing joy practices, because it's an important part of just like making money and $1 million this and sales that, it's an important part of the process.
Yeah, I concur. I think it is really important, and I always stress that as well to my ladies. The self-care. And I know self-care has become like a bit of a buzzword at the moment, but it really, really is, like, especially if you're an entrepreneur, because when you've got that pressure of, you've got bills to pay, you've got babies to feed and all the rest of it, it's easy to kind of, the highs and the lows of all of that can be quite stressful for people if you don't have the support network in place, if you don't have a strategy, if you don't have, somebody like yourself who's helping you to talk about these things, and having somebody that's going to be able to talk to you about those things in addition to the back end stuff, I think is really, really important, because it's not just about, the strategy and all the rest of it. You've got to be able to, understand how to take care of yourself at the same time. So all of that
Yes,
is
you
really,
do.
really important. And the other thing that I wanted to share as well, just to, just kind of echoing what you were saying about the conference again as well, about the panel and stuff. Another reason why I really, really love working with you, because I see how you take your students with you. You take your students with you. You don't just teach your students and let them get on with it. And I've seen you do it. I've seen you bring your students with you on. I mean, last year I was just totally gobsmacked that you asked me to speak, and I was like, oh my God, I can't do it.
Yeah.
But I did it, and I was really scared. I was really, really scared because it's, obviously being on that panel with all those other ladies and everything that are on there is a lot. It's a lot. But I always felt that even though I'm kind of one of your newest students, I always feel part of what you're doing. I don't feel like I'm on the outside. And there isn't that
Yeah.
kind of, people say all that stuff around, oh, black women don't really get on. They don't really, they don't really get on together. I just don't experience that in your either in your Facebook groups or in your programs, or I don't experience any of that. And that's not how I feel. I don't feel that at all. I've never felt that with the stuff
It's
that you've
interesting
done.
because yesterday I was talking in a live stream and I mentioned Charvette Mitchell, one of my speakers. I am a web designer at my core. So is Charvette. And we're Black women, we're sister girls, we're in the same industry, and we could easily be crabs in a barrel. Like,
Yeah.
well, I don't need to talk to you. I need to get my client. Listen, I remember one of my clients came to me and I can't remember what it was, but I was like, okay, you need to go to Charvette so she can set that up for you. And then, I remember she checked in with me a few months ago and said, listen, I've got a client and they need a logo. Can you do that for them?
Right.
I'm in a space where that's how we operate, Jay Stone, the brand coach, we've got multiple clients
Jay.
where I do the web, she does the branding. I've got, Rochelle Shaw, she's the take you from the 6-figure to the 7-figure, $1 million. She's got the $1 million equation. So I'm going to teach you about the web and the marketing, and she's going to teach you about now next leveling your business. It's about finding a space where you can co-work together.
Yeah.
And being in a space where you feel like people have you in mind.
Yeah.
So they go, oh, I know so-and-so, let me put you on to them. Right. And you don't feel like there are people who they're on the come up and they don't got time for you.
Yes.
Basically,
that's what I was Yeah.
And that's basically the type of community that's me. And that's what I try to bring into my community. If you want to pull that somewhere else, it ain't happening here, right? And it's not only a reality, but it's a really therapeutic experience for a lot of women who have not experienced that before. Yeah. It's a little bit jarring initially, which I've come to learn just from the experience I have with clients telling me. One of my clients, Lynette Crosby, who's also going to be on the Joy Practice, she came out to a beautiful retreat that we had a few years ago. And she said, LaShanda, I shared some things with you and you hugged me and you said, it's okay. I need you to sit down. I need you to eat something before we start working. And she was like, I was just like taken aback by that. Yeah. And she said, you and your husband, they were, we took her because after the event, she had to go to another hotel. She said, you guys took me to the hotel. I feel like you were my security, that was her first time, I think, traveling alone. So she said, I mean, you just healed like so much trauma for me. You have no idea. And that's what I feel like, we're talking about confidence because that's underlining. It's also identifying for yourself where your inner child, where your Black child, where all parts of you have been triggered on some level in the past, and finding a space where you can find people who are going to help you heal that. Yeah. Every time Dr. Venus comes on and talks about, the connections between Black women and what we've gone through slavery all the way up to today, validation versus valuation, what versus what you putting on, the schools you putting your kids into, what you drive and what you got on your feet. how you want to be perceived in the world, right? Valerie Burton came on a few years ago as part of Back to Business. She talked about the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
You feel like any minute as a Black woman, somebody's going to say, she don't know what she's talking about. Why are you giving her money? She don't deserve that,
Oh my
right?
God, yes.
All of these things that are triggering for us. You know, you need to know that it's not you, that you're not crazy, that there are terms that can identify what you're going through, that we've gone through it, we've risen above it, and you can too.
Yeah.
That's the key.
That's amazing. And you know, just kind of adding to what you were just saying, I remember, do you remember the video that I did for you? One of the first videos that I did for you, LaShanda asked me to just say a few words on, you know, our working together. This was kind of very early days, wasn't it? And at the time, I'm not doing no video. But I ended up doing a video, and I did speak about that. I spoke about the fact that, you know, the own challenge. I've always been quite honest about the challenges that I've had with my relationship with my mum and stuff like that, and how, you know, the relationship that we've built up over the years and stuff like that it's been very nurturing for me to allow another Black woman to help me, to allow another Black woman to nurture me. You know, that is a huge part of the healing process. And, you know, I just feel so grateful that, you know, the conference and then obviously working with you one-on-one has given me an opportunity to really look at that stuff, to allow other Black women to nurture me, be it in business or whatever, you know. And I knew from very early on that I wanted a Black, you know, I definitely wanted a Black entrepreneur. I wanted a Black, a business coach, someone to mentor me. And I just got so much more than I bargained for. Number one, from the conference, just having all of those Black women just pour into each other, you know, in such a beautiful way. And then obviously working with you one-on-one, it's just been such an amazing experience. So ladies, if you are an entrepreneur, or you want to be an entrepreneur, or you've got some ideas and you're not sure what to do with them, seriously, you need to be in this conference. You click the link in the bio. It's events.juneallen.net. You can find all the details there. So LaShanda, the last thing that I wanted to share of the reasons that I really love working is that LaShanda is the idea queen. LaShanda
don't make me cry.
Honestly, this woman, if ever we have our sessions and I say to LaShanda, oh, I'm not really sure what to do about it. Honestly, she'll come up with like 5, 10, 15 different things. She'll pick one product.
We all have our gifts and ideas. That's mine.
So many. This woman can pick one product and turn it into 10, 15 different things for you to make money out of. I mean, honestly, she is the monetization queen. And
you built your empire since we've been working together. It's beautiful that, you know, you've gotten so many amazing pieces of, when I say, if you're not one of my clients that, you know, some people drag their feet, but if I say, Jude, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, by the next call, it's like, okay, LaShanda, here's what I got. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's been a really amazing experience. It really, really is. And I always know that I'm going to come up with something. I always know that, so that builds trust. It builds trust because I know that you're always going to suggest something, or at the same time, you'll always say to me, hold on now, let's take a little bit of a step back. And there are things that I might suggest to you that maybe I'm not ready yet. And I can hear that in a gentle way that you're maybe saying to me, maybe you should try it this way. But really, I know that what you really mean is you're not really ready for that yet, you know? But I you know, and I understand that. I understand that and I respect that. So, you know, it's I feel nurtured. I feel nurtured as an entrepreneur. I feel nurtured as a Black woman. I just feel really lucky. I feel really lucky to be in a space. And it's that quote, isn't it? It's that thing that says, what is it? When the student is ready, the teacher appears. You know, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. I was afraid to leave the other space that I was in, but in my heart was like, you need to work with this woman. You need to work with this woman, and you just need to trust the process and trust that everything is going to work out fine. And, you know, here we are a couple of years later, and, you know, the rest is history. And, you know, I'm not going anywhere. You're gonna have to put up with me. You're not going anywhere, LaShanda. You know, so
I love that. You know, I love when clients say, "Listen, you've got me for life. Okay, just know that this is it." And you know, at the end of the day, it's about those relationships.
yeah,
It's about those relationships. You know, and a lot of ladies will say, you know, I met so and so at the Back to Business virtual conference, and you know, it's I've been with them ever since. And to me, that's the most important part. Finding, you know, that phrase, find your tribe and love them hard.
yeah,
You know, and you'll find that it doesn't necessarily mean you have to find this one perfect person. Just understanding that different people can serve you on your journey at the right time that you need them, right? You know, so take
yeah,
of it what you need right now, and when you're ready, you may go, oh yeah, I know so and so. You've got people you can reference,
yeah,
or a vocabulary you can reference. You know, I'm big on that as well,
yeah,
and being in
massive.
this space where you talk about racial wellness, and when you can share your vocabulary, that opens up the world for other women who now have a
Yeah,
new vocabulary to identify who they are, what they're going through, and then how they can serve others. Yes,
yeah,
yes, that is who I want to serve, and that's how I want to describe what I'm doing. It's just a really, really beautiful thing.
yeah. It really is. It really, really is. Oh, LaShanda, thank you so much for coming on today. I really, really appreciate it. Any of the ladies,
Yes.
have you got any questions or anything for LaShanda? Anybody got any questions they want to ask about the conference or about entrepreneurship or anything they want to ask me?
I always say, no questions is good questions, because it means everybody's deep in thought and they're just soaking it all up.
Oh,
Soaking up
dear.
all the good.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm excited actually about the conference. I'm gonna yeah, I'll be on live. I'm not gonna be doing any live streams on Friday because I want to be on live. What time is Dr. Venus gonna be on Friday?
Friday at 7 p.m. It's either 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Okay.
But when they go to that link, the link that you've got, events.juneallen.net, correct?
Yes.
And they go there, the schedule is up. So all the
Right.
times are there as well.
Right.
So yes.
Okay,
The
great.
full day, I've actually got to update the schedule so that there are just one or two time adjustments, but pretty much everything is intact and we are good to go. So, you know, I always say I have my water, have my Wi-Fi, because we go for a good 12 hours.
I don't know how you do it.
You know, my hubby and my son, they come in, they give me food. You still alive? You okay?
That is so
and
funny.
We keep it going. But, you know, I'm here in the States. You're here in the UK. Women are just all over the globe in a space where they can rock out with us. And, you know, I always remember this. I think it was the first one, because I have this video of all the little snippets. And this one lady, she said, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm like, folks is looking at me like I'm crazy because I'm in the grocery store. And I'm like, well, listen, I'm listening to my Back to Business right now, okay?
That is so funny.
So in the grocery store, wherever people can be in a space where they can tune in and be a part of it. You know, I think somebody said to me, well, can you engage? And I said, absolutely. Every single speaker is there to say, okay, well, what do you want to say to me? I always say, get your ASK, get your ask in gear, because if you're here, it's for a reason, right? And you want to make sure that you take advantage of the opportunity to, wherever you are, talk to the people that need to hear your voice. And I say that because you might need to hear their voice, but sometimes people need to hear your voice, because something comes out of that that's really, really extraordinary, that nothing, I can't even describe it. It's just, it's nothing like it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I loved about it as well, because it does give people an opportunity to talk and ask questions and give feedback and just share their own experiences. And then it becomes, like what we were saying before, it then becomes a relationship. The conference itself is not just, you know, kind of this expert panel of people just talking. It's not like that. It's one of the things I loved about it is actually a dialogue. It's a dialogue, and people can have the opportunity to share stuff that if there's stuff that they're struggling with, they can ask questions and then get live feedback from that same expert on that issue. So it is a really powerful space for Black women entrepreneurs to be able to just be nourished and to be supported.
And honestly, I wanted it to be a space where you can get to people who you could not otherwise get to.
Yeah.
You know, Dr. Venus is in Houston, Texas. You know, it was such a beautiful experience. You know, one of my clients, Kim Coles, living single, just love her to death. You know, she was on Facebook this past weekend and she said, you know, oh yeah, I'm here in a play in North Carolina. And I was like, you're in my neck of the woods and I missed you. Oh my gosh. So then she said, oh my goodness, I would invite you. I know it's late, but do you want to come? And I said, okay. So,
yes,
you know, this past Sunday, you know, my hubby and I, we went to go see Kim here in North Carolina, and she had a beautiful, hey, you little girl, come here. You got to be, you know, and people say, you going to have another baby? I said, this is the baby right here. I don't need no other baby other than this one. I'm good. It was a beautiful, beautiful experience to be there and see her here in North Carolina. And, you know, I share that because Kim, you know, her session, she's got 2 masterclass sessions as part of this year. She's got so much going on. So unfortunately, she won't be speaking live this year. But I did make sure to keep the masterclass sessions in there.
Right.
She was just in Egypt. You know, she was in Egypt a few weeks ago. And then now she's doing a lot. She's speaking. She's got a place. She's traveling. These are women who, unless you've got $1,000 to go out and between the airline ticket and the hotel and the registration, it can be a huge investment to be able to communicate with them or go out to events and where they're speaking. And so I love the virtual, and I always keep that part in there so that no matter where you are, you can have access to them. You know, sometimes you see folks and go, oh man, I wish I could go, but I mean, I just can't afford to. Oh, like, it's expensive, right? So, I mean, the virtual, it starts at like $27. I mean,
that's crazy.
It's nothing.
The value?
It's just an opportunity. To me, it's not so much, oh, let me put this. You know, sometimes you see people put, okay, I'm a $297 or $297.97. You know, because why? Because that's the industry standard. I don't go by the industry standard. I go what God tells me to do, and what He's told me to do is that I got to serve the ladies I've been called to serve. So at the end of the day, it's not about the money. It's not about putting on a crazy price point on it. And I'm going to tell you honestly, a lot of ladies say, real talk, I wouldn't do this for nobody but LaShanda.
It's true.
You know,
and I see they'll say, I
don't get, some people don't get less than $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 to speak. You know what I mean? And they don't do free. And this is just, let's be honest, $27 is just close to free as you're going to get. They don't do these kind of things because they've got a certain standard to uphold.
Exactly.
But ladies in my circle, like myself, are really, I only work with genuine people who are really genuinely committed to helping others. And they don't necessarily feel like they have to follow the status quo and the price points of speaking. You know, I talk about Dr. Venus, I talk about Kim, and, you know, I talk about all these beautiful women who've been a part of the power circle. Abiola Abrams, I mean, she just did a Gap commercial. I was like, oh my goodness.
Wow.
She was on, just noteworthy, beautiful spirit. You know, sometimes I just don't know how it is that I know these people.
But you've been working with them a long time, haven't you? A lot of them. So there's a relationship there that goes way back, you know?
It is a relationship. And when you build the right relationships, there will always be people who say, I'm not going to do this for nobody else but June. You know, there will always be people who they will come to you and they will support you because that's the kind of relationship you've built with them. So I don't know when I got on that soapbox, but let me jump off of it. So.
But it works though. It works because, you know, I've had access to some amazing people. I would never have known those people if I hadn't come to the conference 2 years ago. And those people, you know, another thing that I love about what you do is that you'll get people in that fill the gaps and maybe things that maybe you don't teach, you know. So there are gaps there are people that I've met on the conference that don't teach what you teach, that are now part of my, not personally part of my circle, but I listen to their live streams. I allow myself to get nourished. I've bought their books. I've bought
It
Dr. Keenan's
expands your
book.
circle.
Exactly. Exactly. So it works. So yeah, it's an amazing thing. So ladies, again, events.juneallen.net. If you are interested in this conference, or if you're interested in working with LaShanda directly, then click the link and then you'll find all of the details there. LaShanda, I cannot thank you enough for coming on this
Thank you
evening
for having
to talk
me.
to us. And I'm so looking forward to Saturday. I'm sure that the event is going to be a massive success, because it always is. It's always really great. And I always look forward to it every October.
Even when there are mistakes happening, you know, like LaShanda taking a 5-minute nap.
I wasn't going to say anything
because
about
I'm doing
that,
a 12-hour conference.
So what
But
happened
I say,
is,
listen, you make the mistakes a part of the dance, okay? Because I'm human. I'm human too. Sometimes I need a little cat nap, doggone it. But it's a beautiful.
You've been up for like 2 days.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it was
fun. I did. Remember, we did two. I decided, I don't know what I was thinking, but after one huge virtual conference, I was just so on cloud nine. I did the other one.
That was amazing.
But the beautiful experience of it is you realize it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fall asleep for 5 minutes and then I'm up. I'm ready. I'm sorry.
Everyone was like,
and you know, one of my clients,
LaShanda? Are you there?
One of my clients said to me, you know, I was watching your live stream and you had your notebook. And she said, because of you, I was like, oh, okay. She said, because I felt like I had to know everything during my live stream. But with you having your notebook, I felt like I could do that too. I could just read from that. And I even remember at one point we were talking about what prompt, teleprompt, apps or something like that as well. You know, and just being in a space where when you are just your human self, you give other people permission to do that as well. Yeah. That is confidence.
Yeah.
That's confidence is just being okay with not having to be perfect. Yeah. You know? And sometimes
people connect to that.
Well, I'm gonna forget what I'm saying, so let me just go back to the notes that I wrote.
Yeah.
That's confidence, you know?
Yeah.
When you're okay with not being perfect.
Yeah. And you know, I'm learning that the audience love you for that. It's okay. They connect to you more when you're just human. Yeah. You know? It's letting go of that kind of need to be shiny and perfect. You don't have to be perfect and shiny.
The phenomenon that is YouTube of predating live stream is that changed mainstream media, so that car commercials and all these other big companies started bringing in real people. Then they'll even write it in the commercial. These are not paid actors, you know, because so many people were like, listen, I'm wanting real right now, that they either, number one, get people to bring in that authenticity, or number two, they've been grabbing videos of real people and then now putting it into mainstream.
Yeah.
Right?
Because people want it.
You know, you see a tissue commercial and they're showing like clips of YouTube videos in the tissue commercial. That's the power of authenticity, how it's kind of turned mainstream on its head. So we need to get more comfortable and confident with not being perfect. Because that's perfect.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's nice to, when you finally get to that place where you can actually just let all that stuff go and just do what you need to do, you know, things just become so much more easier, and it's less pressure. It's less pressure to do all of that, you know. So it's really good. It's really, really good. Oh, LaShanda, we're gonna have to jump off now. It's gonna be the end of the broadcast, but thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Again, ladies, events.juneallen.net if you're interested in the conference. Join LaShanda and the amazing lineup of speakers. Please just go and have a look. Go and have a look at the page and see just how many amazing speakers are going to be on there. You've got some freebies on the page, I think, as well, anyway, haven't you? Some stuff for people can experience.
There are a few master classes from myself and a few of the ladies that you can listen to absolutely free. There's literally something for everybody as part of the Back to Business experience. I mean, I
Great.
know what it's like to be on a flostering budget. I know what there are people out there who are like, listen, I am homeless right now, but I've got enough to get on somebody's free library computer and tune in. So whatever you need
Wow.
to do to get a dose of what you need right now, you can find it.
Right, that's great. That's great. So go to the link in the bio, and it will take you straight to LaShanda's page, and then you'll find all of the freebies, all of the information, all of the speakers, everything you need to know. And you've got loads of deals and stuff in there as well, haven't you? I think you've got some deals in there about, how to get in there and all the rest of it. So yes, so LaShanda, thank you so much again for joining us this evening, and I look forward to catching
Thank
up.
you, my dear.
We're talking tomorrow, I think, aren't we? We are chatting tomorrow, which is good. So
Yes, yes,
yeah, so we can
yes.
catch up tomorrow about everything. So ladies, if you've got any other questions at all that you want to know about the Back to Business conference, or that you want to ask LaShanda or anything, um you can contact her directly, or you can email me if you want to know anything about our relationship or any of the things that I've worked with LaShanda about. Then you can definitely contact me directly. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me live. For those of you watching via the replay, thank you so much for joining, and we will see you. I'll be on again tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow yet, but join me tomorrow. And I look forward to continuing this conversation. So thanks, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye, LaShanda. Take
Bye,
care.
dear Carla. All righty, take care.